My lovely Virgos. This is your reading for the week of June 30th, or whenever you hear this and it resonates. I feel as I'm connecting with spirit for this, I feel very strongly that while this might be relevant to a situation that's going on now, I feel this is relevant to a way of being that many of you in the collective, certainly those who resonate with this, have been dealing with for a while in your lives, maybe your whole life, maybe it's a whole pattern. The image that I'm seeing is a crossword puzzle, and you're trying to do it. You're doing it in pencil, not pen, because you're really not sure, and you're racing a lot out, and it's like you're getting really frustrated because you can't get it all to fit. You don't know what you need to do or where to get the information to make this crossword, to be able to complete this crossword puzzle in a way where you get the answer. Then what I see is you putting that, not just putting it aside, tossing that book aside. What Spirit is telling you is, don't try to do a crossword puzzle, play Scrabble. I see this Scrabble board in front of you, and what I see is you being able now, you have the freedom to make your own crossword puzzle with this. You can take the letters that come up and you can decide how you're going to place them and what you're going to do. You also get to decide who you're going to play with. It's no longer just a flat piece of paper that you're trying to sort everything out with. Now, what you get to experience is the process of playing a game where you get to make choices at every single step of the way, and you get to be able to play it with somebody who you get to build together with. Now, whether or not this is another human, or whether or not this is another part of you or spirit, what it feels to me like is this is engaged. This is active. It's not static like the crossword puzzle was. This is active. This is engaged. There's color involved because as I'm seeing the game itself, I remember different colors coming in. And it is the freedom of being able to decide how you want to rack up your points, what words you want to create. And there's just that sense of play. Now, Virgo, the message that started coming along with this was it was very clear, and I'm just going to get it back now. The Spirit is saying it's really time for you to not see your life as a structure that has failed or that you're struggling to understand. This is a time for you to embrace the fact that you are free. You're liberated if you are liberated in your head. And all of that starts with the desire to be liberated. Now, what you're being asked to do here is take a chance that life can be different. Take a chance that instead of being disappointed in this way and that way and that way, that quite the contrary, you can have all the things that you would like. What I feel, what I'm hearing, what I started hearing before and what I'm feeling with this is you're being encouraged to take responsibility for what has not gone right in your life that you are now judging as wrong. But taking responsibility doesn't mean just saying, oh, if I had done that, it would have been different. It's being able to have the compassion for yourself enough to be able to understand, to look at it long enough and understand why you made those choices. What was the motivation behind that? What were the emotional components that directed you to do that? Because by understanding that, it's where you get to take responsibility. You grow emotionally like crazy as you do that. And as you do that, you offload many of the burdens that you've carried about what you didn't do wrong, what you didn't do right, what you did wrong, what you could have done better. Because we don't really want you in that energy, Virgo. earth energy can be heavy. By its nature, it's a slower vibratory frequency. It's meant to be that way because the earth signs are the ones who bring things into form. But what can happen when we look at our lives as earth signs is we can kind of become stuck in patterns of thinking around them, and often they're heavy patterns of thinking, self-judgment, self-recrimination, things like that, or a sense of hopelessness that comes with that sometimes. And what you're being really encouraged to do here is to look at start now and look at what structure you've created for yourself. You can blame other people for it. You can say, well, because of them, this happened. But the reality is, my lovely Virgos, is you've always had a choice about whether or not to go along or not go along. But was it free will? Or was it predetermined because of the traumas and the experiences you've lived in your life? We all want to believe that we have free will. And we do have the free will to change our choices. We have the free will to look at what's kept us in certain cycles. But I think it's also, and this is where part of the compassion comes from, is understanding that when we have had experiences, growing up, I say growing up because that's usually when we imprint a lot of those things, but when we've had traumas, tragedies, chaos, insecurity, abandonment, betrayal, any of those things, it tends to create a protection pattern that will then unconsciously affect many of the choices we make. So we can think it's free will, and it is to arrange. We might have decisions. I like to think of it like this. We will have decisions within this range, whereas if we clear some of the underlying issues, the underlying emotions, then now we'll have choices within this range. It broadens, right? So we have greater choice. And how do we clear the emotions? Well, by allowing ourselves to honor them, to be compassionate about them, to be compassionate about who we were and why we were the way we were, to really let that in as an understanding of growth and process of life and learning, and the learning part is great. The embracing and the compassionate part is where we can let it go, where we can soften and let that be something that was a part of our process of becoming. And now that beautiful turning point of letting it be something that's not to be criticized, hated, pushed aside, belittled, regretted, but just embrace it within the context of we're all here to learn and grow. We did our best with what we could at the time, and now by understanding it and embracing it, not rejecting it, we pull all that energy back to us. And we do it with compassion, which feeds even more positive energy. And now our range of choices becomes this. Virgo, you're being asked to really look at any areas. These are key points. Look at any areas where you have taken things personally and say, or where you felt betrayed or hurt, and say, if I didn't take it personally, if I could look at that other person and realize it was more about how they needed to deal with themselves and protect themselves or coming from their stuff. If I did that, can I let it go? But also look at that for yourself, where you felt you have let people down in some way, not done your best in some way, run away from something, not faced something, whatever. Allow yourself also to, I know this may sound counterintuitive, but don't take it personally, right? So in that regard, what it means is don't beat yourself up for it. Be kind to yourself the way you would be kind if you were looking and choosing to do that to somebody else. Don't let it be a statement about who you are essentially. This is Spirit saying, in order to not take the things that you do personally. It doesn't mean not being accountable. What it means is understanding that is coming from a part of you that has been trained and molded and culturized according to society and family. And that's real personality based, right? And as we learn, we're learning to untangle all of that from the nature of our true self. That's how you don't take it personally, is remembering that you've got an essential self, an essential you. That whatever has done, whatever has happened, it's not about you being bad or any other negative adjective, because the essential you is not that. So you can take accountability, you can learn from all of that stuff, and you can maintain compassion for yourself at the same time. Okay? Focus on what you like about yourself. Allow yourself to really appreciate those things. I think there was something about that the last time I did a reading for you as well. I'm not sure, I can't remember now. But really, please notice the things that you, yes, I do remember now, thank you. Pay attention to the things that you have done, and please remember to give yourself value for having done what you've done to get where you are, to achieve what you've achieved. And notice whenever you start underestimating yourself. Think, if this were anybody else, would I be devaluing what they have done if it was what I had done? Would I not give them credibility for having come through a difficult time in a family situation, an immigration situation, a broken heart, a health problem? Would I blame them for any of those things? Would I look at them and go, wow, in spite of all of that, look at what they've done with their lives, and wow, that's amazing. Give yourself the same benefit, okay? And wherever you can, please notice where you start going into stress and make a list. Whatever you can knock off that list to stop you from stressing, do it. If it's in a practical sense, that's great. If it's from an emotional sense, notice what the characteristics that you have that you judge negatively. This is from Spirit. And notice what the characteristics are that you judge negatively, that you have a hard time having compassion for. And write them down. And I don't say this often, but pray over them. And what does that mean? In this context, and I believe in most contexts, what it means is allowing them to be there and allowing compassion and divine light to fuse with them. And it doesn't have to be more than that. Just be willing to let those qualities and those characteristics be loved by divine light, be embraced by divine light, be accepted by divine light. Whether you can imagine it happening, whether you can imagine yourself ever feeling that, don't worry about that. Just hold that image, okay? Because your higher conscious self wants to clear the way and wants to clear the path. By doing that, what you're allowing is your higher conscious mind to do the work for you when your personality has a difficult time doing it, okay? I leave you with that, my very dear Virgos. Take care.